I've been asked a lot, is LUNC dead? Am I done with LUNC? Why is everyone leaving LUNC? Let's dive into some of these questions and talk about what's going on in the status of LUNC. This is a video I've been thinking of making for a couple days, but I really decided, you know what, let's just make the video after watching this video from Happy Catty Crypto saying, why are influencers leaving LUNC? RPM, CPN, let me explain. I think Happy Catty Crypto was on the right general track, but I think there's a couple of things that are not quite accurate, at least not from my experience or from talking to influencers that I know who are talking about LUNC a lot less. And one of the big things that he talks about is RPM, CPM, and basically revenue per 1,000 views, whether it's a combination of just ad revenue, donations, sponsorship, memberships, all these different opportunities for people to contribute some revenue towards your viewership numbers. And basically what this is per 1,000 views, what kind of revenue numbers are you looking at? Now, I want to show you guys some interesting examples based on my own data analytics on YouTube. And hopefully this will provide a little bit more accurate insight as to why myself and other influencers are not really talking about Terra Luna Classic anymore. And you know, I hope you guys appreciate this honest video. Make sure you guys subscribe down below if you do appreciate the honest video, because this is not going to be an easy video for you guys. This is going to be a little bit of a harsh video. We're going to be brutally honest with what's going on in the LUNC situation within the LUNC community, some things that can be improved, and we're just going to talk through this all and just have a conversation here. I'm going to give you guys my brutal honest reality. Let's show you guys what's happening with my channel and what I know is happening with other channels as well. Let's start by taking a look at my channel performance from September through the end of April. This is basically the time frame when I started covering Terra Luna Classic, roughly 8-month time span here, where I talked about Terra Luna Classic. You can see in that time span, got about 400,000 views, ended up gaining about 3,000 subscribers, and got just shy of $2,000 worth of ad revenue, which is not horrible, but this was basically the vast majority of my income over 8 months. And to be clear, I didn't profit all of this either. Of course, there's taxes and things like that to consider, but I also spent money. For example, if you guys have checked out before some of the different data analytics I put together, so if we go over to burnandbuild.org, for example, all the data analytics that are on this page, over there on these different pages, all these different data points, graphs, all this stuff, paying for API services to handle all this, web hosting, all of that kind of stuff, and then different things for the channel as well. So I can try and put out quality content for you guys, different services, video editing services, all that kind of stuff. I'm spending probably $100, $200 a month in that situation or with those different expenses. And so when you look at over an 8-month time period, I basically spent roughly around this entire revenue amount. So I'm roughly about break even though I've made over 100 YouTube videos covering Terra Luna Classic. Here's this LUNC playlist with all of my different Terra Luna Classic videos. It's just shy actually of 200 videos. So about 200 videos covering Terra Luna Classic. I logged everything in here that way I could keep track of it and then put together a total playlist. So over this time span, there's about 200 Terra Luna Classic videos I made and essentially basically broke even on that. Now, of course, I also did do a couple sponsorships. You guys are aware of that. Did do some sponsorships, but I'm showing you revenue from you guys, the viewers. This is the money that I got in from you guys, the viewers, different donations, memberships, ad revenue, all that kind of stuff. Then there was some sponsorships for, I believe it was like another $2,000, $3,000. And so over the course of 8 months, I basically net $3,000 roughly. Let's just say for easy math, about $3,000. That's not a ton of money to really be gaining over 8 months making 200 videos. And we take this 8-month time span and we compare this to the past month, or less than a month now because we're still in May, but just for the time period of May, when we go ahead and compare that, you guys can see here is the May analytics. For the time of May, gained just shy of 200,000 views, gained 2,000 subscribers, made about $1,000 just this month off of ad revenue, memberships, all that kind of stuff. So a lot better performance this month for sure compared to previous months. And even when you compare to the past 8 months, this is absolutely outstanding. And this is not necessarily due, though, to what Happy Catty Crypto said of different RPM numbers. You can see those RPM numbers right above me here, about $5.09. So basically for every 1,000 views, made about $5 talking about all these different meme coins. When we compare that to Terra Luna Classic, made about $4.22. So definitely a little bit of a bump, but the vast majority of the difference in revenue on a monthly basis was from this extremely high viewership number in comparison. The one thing I think that Happy Catty Crypto did get wrong is he was saying that a lot of people are abandoning ship because now times are getting tough. I just want to point out his own analytics and show you guys this as an example so then you guys can know it's not biased. I'm not just showing my stuff. I know that my things look similar as we just looked at just a minute ago, as well as other YouTubers' analytics look very similar. You can see when you look back in period of time from June, July, August through September, you had really high view numbers for Happy Catty Crypto, over about 400,000 on an average right there. But then quickly, by the time you hit November, it drops down to about 150, and then it drops down even further from there. And of course, he was dealing with surgery and some of those kind of things as well. But people experience roughly similar drops, maybe not quite as sharp, but significant drops in viewership numbers, as total views. And so if these influencers like myself really wanted to, as Ipicatted Crypto said, abandon ship as soon as times get tough and just go on to the next thing, we probably would have all left in November. Instead, we stuck around for quite a few more months trying to make Terra Luna Classic work, trying to make this situation work out, instead of just abandoning ship earlier on. And so if these influencers like myself stuck around for so long after the views have been declining, revenues have been declining so sharply for so many months, why are people suddenly deciding to leave? And I think the thing to highlight here is the change in community support. So let me go ahead and take a look at my analytics for all of these different Pepe videos. You can see the like versus dislike ratios over on the side, and then you can see total number of comments. There's a lot of bot comments, but like versus dislike tends to be an indicator too of positive versus negative comments. They tend to go together, of course, because if you don't like a video, you're probably going to leave a negative comment. You can see a lot of my different Pepe videos, they're averaging about 95% like to dislike ratio. When we go ahead and take a look at my Terra Luna Classic content, though, from a little while ago, you can see it's very different. We have some actually dropping below 90%, quite a few of them in the low 90s, probably averaging closer to maybe 92, 93%, with a lot at the low 90s, which is definitely a massive difference. Something important to highlight here, because a lot of us, we go off of community support. I didn't stick around for 8 months making $3,000 profit because that's all I can do. I have a master's degree now. As I mentioned, I was finishing my master's degree. In a single month, if I wanted to go ahead and get a job and I really wanted to just make money, I'd go ahead and get a job tomorrow with my master's degree, earn double the amount I made in the past 8 months in 1 month as a starting salary easily. So for me, it's not like this is my only thing. I'm here because of the community. I was trying to be here to support the community, but recently I had a revelation. A lot of other people have been saying similar things. You do something that takes a lot of work, and you just is not rewarded. What I mean by that is, for example, with Terraport. I sunk over 40 hours of my life into researching Terraport. I knew that was not going to be a profitable activity. I knew I was not going to make anywhere near enough money to justify that kind of time spent off ad revenue, off donations, anything like that. But what I did want to see was community support. That was something I was looking forward to. I was not really involved in Terraport. I think I had like $10 on the platform. It's not like I lost a ton of money. I was doing all this research to provide information to other people. At the end of the day, it didn't really matter to me. Like for me personally, I was not affected by it. Why it mattered to me though was because of the community, because I want to provide people with the information. However, once I provided people with information, I was met with majority hate. When I asked people if they'd consider donating to support my channel, if they appreciated my content, nobody ended up doing it, which is fine. Nobody has to do it. Again, I don't need to be making this little bit of money every month. It's not like that really makes a huge difference to me. The bigger thing though is the support or lack of support in the situation. That made me really reflect and go, wait a second, how many things have I done for this Terra Luna Classic community that just have not even been appreciated, let alone make money? Making money definitely is a nice thing. It's something that needs to happen, but people like me could stick it out through the tough times if we get support. The problem is the support is just not there. There's so much more support going into these other cryptocurrencies. I get 10 times as many supportive comments covering things like Pepe and things like that versus Terra Luna Classic. I get way more hate covering Terra Luna Classic. And so it's like, why would I bother? And I know that's not my own experience. Of course, you guys don't have to support me or my content, but I know talking to a handful, over 5 other creators, that they all feel the same way about this, that there's a lack of support and there's also a lack of money. So why should they create Terra Luna Classic content? There's no reason to do it. And so if people don't get supported either monetarily or by feedback, by people saying thank you for this, by people showing their appreciation, so either monetary support or a moral support, people are going to stop supporting Terra Luna Classic themselves if they don't receive that support. That's just a reality. People are not going to dedicate hours of their lives every single day to something if they're not going to get something back in return, whether it's personal satisfaction by making videos, whether it's support in terms of money, whether it's support in terms of people saying thank you. It's just not going to happen. And so I think honestly, if Terra Luna Classic cannot support creators, cannot support developers, cannot support builders, either monetarily or again through moral support, through words of affirmation, all that kind of stuff, if that does not happen, Terra Luna Classic futures does not look great. I look at so many projects out there that don't want to do marketing, that don't want to support the builders, that want to hate on the dev teams. Those projects do not succeed because you need to think about the opportunity cost for these different people. Developers can go work on other projects and make more money. They can get more support. Creators can cover other content, make more money, get more support. So why would they stay with your cryptocurrency? Why would they continue to cover Terra Luna Classic in this scenario? in the time of May, right? I showed you guys the ad revenue in the time of May. I also did more sponsored content than I've done over the past 8 months, made more money from that as well. So this month, literally, I made more money than the past 8 months combined. And it's just kind of sad to see, again, not necessarily the money. Again, I was sticking it out for 8 months without making any kind of serious money from Terra Luna Classic, but suddenly the support has just absolutely dropped off for myself and a bunch of other creators. And I think that's a major problem, because then again, we need some kind of support to keep us motivated. And so I will not stop covering Terra Luna Classic content entirely, but it's going to be a very small percentage of my channel going forward, because the reality is when I did things like the Terraport investigation, I had a handful of people, literally under 10 people, that ended up reaching out to me saying, thank you for doing this. And it's like I dedicated 40 hours of my life for less than 10 people to appreciate it. I got dozens, literally dozens, probably 50 plus hate comments, 50 plus hate messages because of what I did with Terraport. Again, just investigating the scenario where people lost millions of dollars. That got me more hate than support. And so for me, it's like, why would I keep covering it? It just doesn't make sense. However, for those people that do appreciate the content, I'm going to keep doing some content. It's just not going to be the priority anymore. And so I truly do hope that Terra Luna Classic can turn things around, that we can see more support going towards builders, towards creators, towards developers, both in terms of monetary value, in terms of money, rewarding them for their work, but also in terms of just community morale, community support, coming to these creators, telling them that you appreciate their work, telling the builders, telling the developers they appreciate them, writing the code, doing all this different work. Hopefully that can change for Terra Luna Classic and things will turn around. We'll see a brighter future for Terra Luna Classic.